Hi and welcome to the MyMuse instruction videos. This is number 6. We're going to cover menus and presenting your products. Before we make a menu, you should log into your administrator area and go to Components MyMuse. At the top right, there's an icon that points to your parameters. These are also called your component parameters or your global configuration. You can also think of them as your default menu parameters. Each menu can override these parameters, but these will set the global defaults. Okay, MyMuse can present your products in two different ways, basically, with lots of options. As a list with one entry per row, or as several columns. And we'll look at those in just a minute. MyMuse comes with two sections, one to present by artist and one to present by catalog. The catalog might be different genres like blues, jazz, or hip-hop. If you're pointing to get one of these sections, whether the artist or the catalog, you have the options to show the section description, to show the section image, whether to show list of categories and artists underneath that section, whether to show empty categories, whether to show the category description, whether to show the category image. You can set a default image height. If you set this at 0, it will not affect the image height. You can show the number of products in each category. It shows up in parentheses after the category title. And you have the option on that page to show all the products underneath that. And if you do, you can show a product image and you can set a default image height. You can also point menus directly at a category or an artist. For instance, right at blues or right at your artist name. If you do, you have the option to show the description, whether to show the image. You can set a default image height. And again, you have the option to show all the products. If you do, you can show the product image. And if you do, you can set a default image height. When you're showing a list of products, you have the option to set the default order. And it'll have a primary and a secondary order. So you can order by the artists, alphabetical, and then by the ordering you've given in the back end. And there's several options here. You can also order by the title. You can set what number of products will show up per page. Should you show a filter that lets the client type in a name to search for? And if you do, what field should it search? And should you show pagination at the bottom? And do you want to show a pagination limit box that lets the customer choose how many products are shown per page? On the product pages themselves, you can show a product image or not. You can set the height. You can show the intro text. We'll show you that in a little bit. And you can show review links if there are any reviews that you've uploaded. Okay, now we know that what the default component parameters are. Let's look at the menus. Let's go to menus, and we're going to create a new one. And it'll be of menu type MyMuse. And here we have several options. You can present a MyMuse menu that points at the shopping cart. This is a good idea, as then people can get to the shopping cart no matter where they are in the site. You can point MyMuse at a category or an artist, plus optionally a list of products underneath. Well, here it's columns of products. Here it's a list of products. Here it's a list of products and the tracks. You can point directly at one product. If you've only got a few products, you might want to make a menu that points to each one. You can point to a complete section, such as artist or catalog, and then present the products below in columns or in a list. For your shopper, you can present a user menu with a link to let them edit their profile or to list all their previous orders, and you can also make a link to the registration page. Finally, you can make a link directly to the store layout. As an example, let's make a link to a product. Here on the right side we can select the product we want. I'm going to select one called How Good Is Me Life. We can let Joomla fill in the alias. It builds the link for you. You can tell it what menu to display in the parent item. We'll just leave it at the top for our example. Whether it's published. After you've saved it, you can set the order. We'll leave the access level public and have it open in the parent window. Now when we're pointing at a product, we have the option to set here the basic parameters. Should we show the image? Should we set the image height? Should we show intro text? We're going to not affect the image height, so I'll set this at 0. I'm going to show the intro text if there's any reviews, and show quantity. This is an option. You can present your list of products with or without a quantity box. If you hide the quantity box, it will be assumed to be 1. Now I have my component parameters, and here you'll see our MyMuse parameters are reflected here again, and you have the option to use the global default, or you can set your own. Okay, let's save this and let's look at this example. Here's my example site, and I've made a menu called How Good Is Me Life that points directly at this product. Here's the title, here's the artist with a link to the artist, here's the intro text. If I tell it to show intro text, it'll show a bit of text here with the Read More button. The Read More points down to the bottom of the page here, where I can show much more detail about the particular album. In between I show whether it's a single CD, or in this case he's created items, because he has a CD and he has a book. The CD happens to be on sale, $5 off. The discount set in the back end, so it shows the original price and what the new price is. And here's a list of all the downloadable files, all the songs off the album, and pointers to the previews. So that's a single product page. Okay, let's look at some other examples. If we go back to our menu manager, here's one that points at a section called Artists. And you can name this what you want, but it's I called it Artists. I pointed at the section Artists, and I'm going to display my products in columns 4 wide. I'm going to tell it to show review links. Let's have a look at that. Here's an example of a page pointing to my section Artists. I have menus to all my artists, but here it is with I'm showing the title of the artist, how many products he has, and his picture or her picture, and then I'm showing all the products underneath, and I'm showing a filter where the client could enter some text to search the titles. I'm letting the client decide how many products to show per page, and I'm showing a pagination at the bottom. Let's start back at the top. Let's change a couple of these and see what happens. Okay, now on this menu I can look at the global parameters, or the component parameters. I don't really have a section description, so I'm not going to show it. What if we hid the category image? And let's see what that does. If we apply that and go back. Okay, now I've got a list of artists just showing their name, well, a link to their page, and how many products they have. Let's have a look at this list by columns. Here it's 4 columns wide. I don't really have room to do any more, but if I change some of these global parameters, so just this menu, I'm on the section side, show the number of products, show all the products. Should I show the image? Yes. Now I've made sure all the images are the same, but I could set a standard height for them all. And in my list I can sort differently. For instance, I could sort by artist and then by most hits. If an artist had several albums, the one with the most hits would come first. The number per page. What if I hid my filter, so I don't care about the field now? If I hid the pagination limit box. Let's see where we're at now. We apply that, and we'll refresh the page. Okay, now my list, I've lost the filter, I've lost the filter, or the pagination box. I've still got the pagination at the end. And maybe because I've set the image height at 100, it's made a nice straight layout. Okay, I don't want to go through all of these components parameters, but you can play with them all and see what they do. Now you've got an idea. Let's look at one. Let's look at a list view as another example. We'll close this. Now here I'm going to point to all the ballads in this catalog. There's categories like new releases, ballads, instrumentals, and this one is done. This is a products in a list, so one per row. Now I get the options. Should I show the listing headings? Should I show the product title, the intro text, category artist that the product belongs to, the date it was made, review links, the hits, and here's what that looks like. So here's the category called ballads. I'm showing the category picture and the description, which isn't very much yet. And here's our list. I'm showing the list top column, or top row with all the titles. And then each row I'm showing a picture. Here's a title with intro text. I'm showing what artists that album belongs to. I'm showing the date it was made, though I haven't filled this in the back, so there's no dates to show. If it has a review, I'm showing links to reviews. I'm showing how many hits each item has received. Okay, in this one there's less than 12 in total, so it's not going to show the pagination. Let's make a couple changes and see what we can do. Now, because we have no dates associated with the albums, we'll hide that. Maybe we don't want to show how many hits yet until we've got a good number of them. Let's look at the components. So this is a category page, the category being ballads. My artist descriptions are too long, so I'm not going to show them. Category image, I am showing that. I'm showing all products. What if I set the product image height at 50? Let's just see what our changes will lead us to. Here are back in ballads. We'll refresh the page. We've taken off a couple of the columns, the hits and the date, and we've screwed the image down to 50 pixels. I don't like that, but it might fit your it might fit you. Okay, so once again, we won't go through all of the options here. First ones are obvious. Don't forget to check your component parameters. These are ones you'll likely set for the whole site back in MyMuse. So have fun playing with your menus, and good luck selling your product. That's all for now.